Ever find yourself like admiring a beautifully crafted table, and kind of like wondering about the journey of the wood itself?
Mm-hmm.
Well, today we're going to dive headfirst into the world of timber trading,
Yes.
thanks to this incredibly detailed career guide on the subject that we found from RoleCatcher.
It's a fascinating field.
Get ready to go from admiring those finished products to understanding the ins and outs of sourcing the very wood they're made of.
Yeah, it's a field that's way more intricate than I think most people realize. And, with sustainability becoming increasingly important, it's more relevant than ever.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher really dives deep. So let's unpack this. What does a timber trader actually do all day?
Okay.
It's got to be more than just yelling timber.
Right? Definitely more nuanced than that.
Okay, good.
The role catcher guide, I think, paints a really good picture. It's a role that's like deeply embedded in the business world. So think like assessing the quality of timber, deciphering market values, negotiating deals. It's this constantly evolving cycle of buying and selling.
It's fascinating how the guide emphasizes the strategic thinking involved. It's not just about knowing your wood. It's about understanding global markets and making like these really savvy decisions that impact the entire supply chain.
Yeah, precisely. And this brings us to, I think, one of the key takeaways from the guide, the importance of really strong negotiation skills. So timber traders, they often find themselves acting as these intermediaries between suppliers and buyers, and each of them have their own priorities, their own constraints.
So a timber trader needs to be like a master negotiator
Absolutely.
to find that sweet spot where everyone feels like they got, a fair deal.
Yeah, and it's not just about getting a good price. Timber traders need to ensure that the timber is sourced responsibly right, meeting all those environmental regulations and sustainability standards, which are becoming increasingly more stringent worldwide.
Which reminds me of that recent article about how some European countries are pushing for stricter regulations on imported timber to combat deforestation. It's a really hot topic.
It is.
And it seems like timber traders are kind of on the front lines of these global shifts.
They absolutely are. So the guide emphasizes that the timber industry is shifting towards sustainability, and it's driven by both consumer demand and then also these stricter environmental regulations. So knowing your way around these evolving standards, it's no longer optional. It's essential.
Yeah, it's like being an environmental steward and a savvy business person all rolled into one.
Right.
Speaking of which, the guide blew me away with just the range of skills that it listed for a successful timber trader.
Yeah. What I found particularly interesting was the emphasis on skills that kind of go beyond just timber knowledge. So the guide states that persuasion and negotiation, they make up a significant portion of a timber trader's core abilities, even more so than in-depth knowledge of specific wood types.
That's huge. It's one thing to know your oak from your maple, but to actually convince someone to buy it, that's next level stuff.
Exactly, and it highlights how transferable skills from other fields can be incredibly valuable in timber trading.
So someone with a background in sales, for example, might already have a leg up in the timber world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are existing skills in communication, persuasion, building relationships that would translate beautifully to the world of timber trading.
That's what I think makes this so interesting. It's not just about the wood itself. It's about understanding the people and the dynamics of the entire industry. It's almost like being a detective, piecing together clues about market trends, supply chains, and consumer demands.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of piecing things together, the guide provides this really helpful breakdown of the different career stages within timber trading, almost like a roadmap for aspiring professionals.
It does, yeah. It lays out a really clear path, from those entry-level positions all the way up to like senior management roles.
It's like choose your own adventure for timber enthusiasts.
Yeah.
We could spend hours dissecting each stage, but for the sake of time,
Let's focus on the role of senior timber trader. The guide really dives into the day-to-day realities of this position.
yeah, and it paints a picture of someone who's not just managing trades, but actually like shaping the direction of their company or even the industry as a whole.
That's right. They're responsible for developing like long-term trading strategies, often dealing with international clients and navigating those complex market fluctuations. The guide even provides a sample profile of a senior timber trader.
Right.
And it sounds like a role that requires a really unique blend of like analytical thinking and then also that sharp intuition.
Yeah, it's fascinating how the guide highlights the importance of continuous learning in this role. So even seasoned professionals, they need to stay up to date on the latest market trends, sustainability certifications, and then you've got like technological advancements.
Makes sense. The timber industry is constantly evolving, so resting on your laurels is not an option if you want to stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
Speaking of staying ahead of the curve, the guide also touches on the importance of professional development.
Yeah, and it specifically mentions joining like relevant industry associations as a way to network, access those training programs, and gain valuable insights from, those experienced professionals.
It's like that old saying, it's not always about what you know, but who you know.
Right.
But in this case, it's a bit of both, right?
Absolutely.
You need the knowledge and the connections to really thrive in the timber trade.
Yeah, and building those connections can also be so invaluable when it comes to landing a job in the first place.
Oh, absolutely.
Speaking of which, the guide offers some really insightful advice on how to ace a timber trading interview.
Yes. It's one thing to understand the ins and outs of the job, but actually conveying your passion and expertise to a potential employer,
Yeah,
that's a whole other ballgame.
it is. One of the key things the guide emphasizes is the importance of showcasing your understanding of the global timber market. So interviewers want to know that you're not just knowledgeable about, different types of wood, but also about the economic and geopolitical factors that can influence supply and demand.
So it's like being a timber detective and a global strategist all in one.
Exactly.
All right.
And the guide provides some excellent examples of interview questions that might come up, along with tips on how to structure your answers to really highlight your skills and experience.
For instance, they mentioned a question about handling a difficult negotiation with a timber supplier.
Right.
What I found interesting is that the guide stresses the importance of not just describing what you did, but also explaining why you took a certain approach.
Right.
Demonstrating your thought process and your problem-solving abilities.
It's about showcasing your ability to think critically and make those sound judgments under pressure, qualities that are absolutely essential for success in the fast-paced world of timber trading.
So it's not just about having the right answers. Yeah. It's about demonstrating that you have the right mindset and the ability to adapt to those challenging situations.
Precisely. And that brings us to, I think, another crucial aspect of the interview process that the guide highlights: the importance of asking thoughtful questions.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Asking questions shows that you're genuinely interested and that you've done your research.
It's an opportunity to go beyond the basic information provided in the job description. You can really dig deeper into the company's values, their approach to sustainability, and the specific challenges and opportunities that are presented by the role.
It's about showing that you're not just looking for any job in timber trading,
Right.
but that you're specifically interested in this particular company and this particular role.
Exactly. It's about finding the right fit for your skills and your aspirations. And speaking of finding the right fit, the guide also touches on kind of an interesting aspect of the timber trading profession, the variety of job titles that you might encounter.
Oh, that's right. While timber trader might be the most common title.
Yeah,
There are a surprising number of variations out there.
there are.
Right.
Yeah, the guide lists titles like green coffee buyer and textile sourcing merchandiser,
Wow.
highlighting the connections between these seemingly disparate fields and the transferability of skills developed in timber trading.
It really goes to show that the skills you hone as a timber trader can open doors to a surprisingly wide range of industries.
It speaks to the versatility of a skill set that, combines market knowledge, negotiation prowess, and a really keen understanding of global supply chains.
It's like having a Swiss Army knife of business skills.
Yeah.
So as we approach the end of our deep dive into the world of timber trading, guided by all this great information from RoleCatcher, what would you say is the most important takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that a career in timber trading is way more multifaceted than it might initially appear.
It's not just about, knowing your wood. It's about understanding those global markets, navigating those complex regulations, building those strong relationships with suppliers and buyers across the world.
It's a field that demands both sharp business acumen and a commitment to those ethical and sustainable practices.
And it seems like there's never a dull moment.
Right.
From analyzing market trends to negotiating those deals and staying ahead of the sustainability curve, timber trading offers a really dynamic and constantly evolving career path.
It's a career that truly blends, knowledge, skill, and a passion for this really vital industry.
Well said. So for our listeners who are ready to kind of take the plunge, what final piece of advice would you offer as they embark on their timber trading journey?
I would encourage them to embrace continuous learning. Stay curious about the industry. Connect with those experienced professionals. and never stop seeking out new knowledge and opportunities.
It's about being a lifelong student of the timber trade.
Precisely. The more you learn, the more you grow, and honestly, the more successful you'll be in this exciting and rewarding field.
Well, that's a wrap on today's deep dive into the world of timber trading. We hope you found this exploration insightful and inspiring. Until next time, keep those questions coming and never stop exploring.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, anytime.